Hello folks, welcome to the Green Room again, episode 2. I'm going to introduce myself this time because I forgot to do it last time. I'm Wayne Green and my special guest for episode 2 is none other than Mr. Danny Llamosa. So, how do I know Danny? How do we know each other?
Through work, wasn't it?
Yeah, and your dad? Oh no, actually, I think
your mates moved for
yeah, I was, yeah. And then I ditched you because your dad was more interesting.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, so we met at work and have known each other for a while. Been out on a few good nights. You got less hair now than you used to have.
Yeah, my head's on upside down.
Is it?
So yeah, so I thought I have to substitute for having no hair, just for having a ginger beard.
I'm going to definitely have to put some videos up just so people can see what we're talking about. But you used to have spiky hair. Do you remember when you had spiky hair?
I did remember. I used to spike it up and then comb it down at the front.
Yeah.
I'm much more happy with a bald head now.
Well, just before you shaved your head, you had like a side. You did that. Yeah. That looked alright.
Yeah,
like a side part.
I did have a side parting.
But it was funny because we'll probably talk about this in more depth. But me and Danny have been to Oktoberfest a few times in Germany, Munich. And there was one time you didn't go and your dad went, and there was a chubby kid that had the same sort of hairstyle as you, and I think it was a woman.
I got sent the picture.
Did you?
Yeah, I did get sent the picture, yeah.
And your dad was like, wait, I'm going to go over and look, there's a female Danny over there. I'm going to go over, take a picture of me. And he walked over to the table and stood next to her, and she's kind of looking as if to say, what are you doing? And he's just stood posing for this picture.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But yeah, so you shaved it all off in the end.
All gone.
Well, it's not a bad thing. I'm kind of thankful that I've got my hair, but I've got, as my mate Rob says, pubic hair on my head.
It has some like similarities towards my pubic region.
It's very dry, coarse, and yeah, Rob calls it pubic head. So I'm sure when he comes on in a couple of weeks or a few weeks, I'm sure he'll be giving me some about that. You've recently moved away. You went down to Cornwall. Dorset. Was it Cornwall?
No, you keep saying Cornwall, but it's Dorset.
Maybe it's because I thought it was Falmouth.
No, it's
You went to Dorset.
It's like Bridport.
Yeah, so you went down there because you got a new job.
Yeah, I got a job on a campsite with like a sort of warden's job as well. So like free house, but it was really bad.
The pictures look good.
Yeah, the pictures look good, but like everything else was bad. It's like people who Photoshop themselves on Instagram or something.
Oh, really? Oh, we'll probably get onto that in your rant, won't we?
Possibly.
So I saw a post of yours where you said, not bad, but not Wollacombe or not Devon or something.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
were you getting like homesick when you were down there?
I don't know if it was homesick because I didn't realise how much I'd miss sort of friends and family, even just to ring up and go, oh, do you want to go for a beer? Like even that sort of socialising aspect, I did miss it quite a bit because obviously I consider myself to be quite social anyway.
We were talking about that earlier and about how, and I'm the same. Like when you're super social, it's nice to have all those people to like. You just go out on your own.
Off of.
Yeah, and you
literally.
Or you can go out on your own and guaranteed to bump into someone you know.
Yeah.
And you're very much like that.
Yeah, and have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if I'd be brave enough to do that. I like I don't know if I'll always be here, but that's quite a brave thing to do.
I just seen it as like nothing ventured, nothing gained. And it's not the end of the world. It's an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
So like it didn't work out. So all right, I'll come home then.
But I kind of think you're like that though. You're a bit of I know a few people like this. I'm not one of them, but you are kind of a doer. If you decide you're going to do something, you just do it. You don't make excuses for it. You just get up and do it, and why not? Yeah,
and if it don't work out,
yeah.
As that Del Boy says, he who dares.
Yeah. But it's funny because people can kind of get stick for doing stuff like that. Oh, they don't stick to anything for 5 minutes and all this lot. And there is an element of that, I think, with some people. But I just think being someone that kind of plays it safe all the time, and that's not a bad thing.
No, absolutely.
You know, I envy the fact that someone like you will look back and have no regrets because you'll have tried everything once.
Yeah, I've tried. Well,
literally. We can't go into some of those.
Yeah, let's not go into that too far.
No.
But yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to do that. I think the only way you're going to learn is everyone says, "I learn from other people's mistakes," but you're only going to learn more from your own mistakes. I think that's it. That's an important thing to do. Like, I failed loads of times, but I've always learned from it. I've failed more than I've achieved, but I've learned something from it, and it's made like the small achievements that little bit more special, I suppose.
So, I hope you don't mind me saying, you used to be on the larger side.
I was on a bit of a larger proportion to what I am now, yeah.
I have a picture of you at Oktoberfest, actually. Well, not at Oktoberfest itself, at the Hofbräuhaus in Munich, scouting the area in a large manner, wearing a grey orgasm donor t-shirt.
yeah, that'd have been me, and I think I had spiky hair at the time as well.
I'm amazed you didn't pull that time.
It Beth's like belief, really, to be honest. It wasn't my greatest look, with a pair of aviators on as well.
Yes, you did, and your spiky haircut that we were talking about earlier. I'm amazed. I would have thought people were banging down your door.
Exactly, yeah. I was.
What's funny about that picture is that you're there, almost like looking around, almost like, ladies, I'm here, grab a ticket. It's kind of...
Oh, it's so bad. You'd have to put the picture up.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine. You can put it up.
That is funny. But where I was going with that is you slimmed down. I think it was when you went travelling. You went to Thailand and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't slim down as such. I think it was just a shit. Like,
I
spent a lot of time with the shits. Yeah, so
just, always a good way to lose weight.
Yeah, when your diet just consists of undercooked dog and Chang beer, that's pretty much.
And what was it? Chinese rice wine marinated with
cobra.
and
king
scorpion.
cobras. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Look that up, guys. I'm sure if you Google that, was it Chinese rice wine?
I don't know what it was. It weren't nice. We did drink it, and the cobra was real, but it was savage.
There's a cobra, an actual cobra, with a scorpion in its mouth in the bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of fermenting in there.
And I had another bottle as well, and I took it to a party, I think. But what I forgot is that I'd opened the bottle before. So when I opened the bottle, the cobra started to decompose.
Oh, what? Because of the air? Because it wasn't airtight?
It went airtight, yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't drink any of that, but like it was like gravy. Like it stank.
It's got. I read that it's got hallucinogenic properties because of although the alcohol is meant to neutralise the venom in the cobra, it neutralises it to a point where it's not deadly, but it can actually give you hallucinogenic.
It did make me feel proper weird after drinking it, but then the worst thing I think it was is that I only spent about £2 on it. Like you got to think like it can't be that good if you spent £2 on it.
Just buying a stuffed cobra would probably cost you more than that. So you went travelling, you lost a bit of weight just doing that.
Yeah.
But where I'm going with this is you kind of got into... You've always gone to the gym, haven't you? You've always kind of like going to the gym doing weights.
Yeah. But I still preferred eating. Like, like as much as I enjoyed like lifting some weights every now and then, it was more still enjoyable eating.
Yeah,
so
I get that.
I've put on weight again since, but I've always fluctuate anyway. I don't think I could ever be as big as what I have been. Well,
you've done a couple of charity boxing matches, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you do a lot of training for that.
Yeah, it proper sort of took over my life a little bit. I was at uni, and it was like 8 weeks training. It was just crazy. I'd go in sometimes twice a week. But that's because I had a good trainer as well. He was always made you feel comfortable. Didn't matter about ability, just always there willing to help, and he's a really good coach.
So what, did you have to go on any specialised diets for that?
Yeah, I paid the second time. I wasn't happy with my first fight, so I went into it a lot more serious on my second fight. So I was training 10 times a week. I had a strict diet plan.
10 times a week?
But that was more so it was more fear that made me train harder. Like the fear of being sort of beaten up in front of all your friends and family.
Yeah.
In front of a large audience is like, makes you want to go out. And so when it was raining, I'd be playing Xbox and I'd go, right, I'm going out for a run. And I didn't want to, but I knew that because I was so comfortable on the bed playing Xbox, I was like, right, I'm going to go out for a run now.
Yeah.
And just drop go and don't plan it just because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's that sort of sacrifice. And I think that's what really helped me.
Paid off. You won both fights.
We won both fights. Yeah, it was good. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was definitely a good experience.
I was just thinking I might have to put a link, if that is your last fight on YouTube or anything.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Might have to put that on the Facebook page for you to check out, because not only is it just impressive anyway, but the final you tell them the final bell.
Well, it was sort of like a 1-2, so like when the hand comes over, you throw the right hand straight afterwards. And I've done it, but as I've done that, the bell's gone. So the bell's stopped for the end of the fight. Mid swing, and he's literally dropped his hands, and I've just gone bang. But it was like complete accident. Like I didn't mean to like clock him after the bell, but it looks so bad.
It's the sound as well. It's literally
It was probably the best punch I threw the whole fight.
Yeah, and it didn't count because it was after the bell. Did you say all his mates booed you or something?
Yeah, no, it's just like sort of me like sort of apologising to him. Like I was like, I'm so sorry after. His hands go down right at the moment, whereas I'm sort of coming through.
Yeah, it's good fight though. Both of them were good. It must be amazing to be up there and be the victor.
Oh, absolutely. I think because me and the guy that I fought, who's on my friends list, we had we sparred, I think 2 weeks before, at an interclub, and he battered me. Absolutely battered me. I had like blood coming from my lip. I mean, the coach said it was close, but like he battered me.
I remember your dad saying about it actually, because I said, how's Danny getting on with his training? And he said, yeah, he's all right. He said he's had a bit of a setback. He said that it, like a knock in his confidence because of that. So that was really cool that you overcame that.
Yeah, and it was so the guy that beat me up, that's who they gave me to fight on the night. So
intentionally or just pure chance?
I don't know. It's just, they said it was a close match, but obviously the coach says you don't remember the shots that you throw, you only remember the ones that you were taking.
Yeah, but
so to me, I just felt like I got beaten up for like 6 whole minutes. Like, and I was out of breath, I was getting battered. But yeah, it paid off. I mean, it made me work hard and made me think, right, you've done that once, you ain't doing it again. And I think it played into my hands a bit more because he was confident going in. So before the first fight on, before the fight, I'm sat in the chair like just thinking. He's more relaxed, like getting up sort of with his mates and having like looked a lot more relaxed than what I was. So I think that
maybe too confident.
Maybe, but like it sort of played in my thing. I think he landed a couple of good shots on me, but it was good.
Because I came round to yours or your dad's for a barbecue last year, didn't I? Yeah. We stayed up and had a few beers, and you had a punch bag on the outside of the house, and you had an app on your phone. Sort of like a minute timer or something. Yeah. And we played, Danny decided it was a good idea after we'd all been drinking all night to lay into this punch bag for a minute.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I've heard boxing training's the toughest training, or one of the toughest trainings you can do. But I couldn't believe how hard that 1 minute of laying into a punch bag is. And I wasn't even taking shots. I was just hitting it. So that must be insane, being in the ring, exhausting. I mean, laying into someone but also taking shots.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling, especially if you're being hit and you're out of breath. So like you think when you're out of breath and you run, you stop.
Yeah.
Well, you can't stop, because if you stop, you're going to get hurt. So it's interesting, but it's so as fit as I was at that point, I did get incredibly fit. And after all the time, I go, oh, I'm not going to let this slide. I'm not going to let it slide. Next day, I'll have a fry up, and I stopped drinking for the whole time I was training. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, and then straight afterwards, back on the beers. Weight goes on, start eating a bit more. So it's difficult again to sort of get that sort of momentum back to go and do it, unless obviously you sign up for a fight, and then you think, well,
yeah,
I have to.
It can't be a bad thing though. You've got to live at the same time.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a different body type, haven't they?
But it's difficult down here. It was okay in Bournemouth because there was like, the coaching was a lot, not say better, but there was better facilities. And
what charity did you do it for?
I did it for cancer research. So I think it was over £2,000, I think, raised with both fights.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
Have you got any more? Would you consider doing it again?
If I lived in Bournemouth, I think I would. There's the coach, Mark Plunkett's now has got his own gym called Body Snatchers, so check it out if anyone hasn't seen it.
Put a link up.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool because you're back. you're back now. So don't get into another one just yet, because you've probably got loads of people to catch up with, and that's going to involve alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I'll put that fight, if I can find the link, or you can give me the link. I'll put the link to the fight on the Green Room Facebook page and related social media, Instagram, and I'll put some Oktoberfest favourite snaps up.
Yeah.
I got some disgusting ones. We might not have to put those ones up, but so check out the video and the links that I put up. As you'll know from the last episode of the Green Room, one feature we have on here is called Embarrassing Moments. I didn't have a jingle for it last time, but I still haven't. But I'm going to record one, and I think I'll put it in about here. Ooh, that's embarrassing. So embarrassing moments. I ask each of my guests, whoever they may be, for an embarrassing moment from their life. Last week we had Dave Petty's embarrassing moment. He set the bar quite high. That was a good one. If you haven't heard it, then go and listen to last episode's podcast. There are also video highlights of that on the Facebook page, so check them out. So Danny Llamosa, start us off.
Well, I've got quite a few embarrassing moments that I probably can't share on here.
I imagine you don't get embarrassed easy though.
I'm not easily embarrassed, and it does when you've got like a father like I've got. Like it's very, very difficult to get embarrassed. Like
I get that. Yeah.
He's done that since embarrassed me and my sister since we were kids. So shouting down. I remember him walking out of a bakery once with a French stick in Ilfracombe, raised it above his head and just started shouting as loud as he could, "I've got the last French stick in Ilfracombe." to which point I just started laughing, and my sister's just crossed over, and he drove, was it from one end of Carmarthen to the other with his hand on his horn.
Oh my God.
Just because he thought it was funny. And my sister just can't handle it.
That's hilarious.
Things like that, I'd say I don't often get embarrassed.
So you were trained well.
Trained very well. So this one would be when I was traveling in Australia. It was my day before my birthday, or 2 days before my birthday, and I spoke to George about going skydiving, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know," and I know George is can be a bit tight, so I thought, right, if I ring up and book it, he's got to do it. He's got to do it. So we done that for my birthday. So we went into Coffs Harbour, just near Sydney, to go to do this skydive. And we're going up in a plane, and I was, as Wayne previously mentioned, rather large, and the plane was very small. So there was 4 of us in there. I had the guy strapped to my back. George had the guy strapped to his back, and you sat. I don't know when you done your skydive, but you had to sit on your knees because the plane was so small. And we kept going up and up and up and up and up, and then George jumped out first, and he said, "Right, you got to come back now. You got to come to get to the side of the plane." So I've tried to move my legs, and I couldn't, because my legs had gone completely to sleep. When I say completely to sleep, I think Stephen Hawkins would have beat me in a race. They were that sort of. I had nothing. There was, and I'm just going, oh fuck, and he's going, "Come on, push! You got to push me back." Yeah. All right, mate. So I'm there for, I'm going to say a good 5 minutes trying to wake my legs up.
And you've probably got a certain amount of time to do it because of the drop zone.
Exactly. So they're going, hurry up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. So I'm trying my best to push me and this guy back on this plane. And I looked at the pilot, and he's just looking at his face. You can see he's just thinking, fat bastard. That's exactly what he's thinking. And I'm just going right, trying my best to try and angle it back. George has already jumped. So I've tried to angle my legs back, and I just couldn't. I couldn't physically push me and this guy back. So I managed to do it in the end, and obviously it's all being filmed. So they've opened up the door. So they're right, you're gonna have to go further back. And I'm I can't go any further back. It's I've had to throw the guy on the back, pushed him up against the side of the door what we're going to dive out of. He's going like that as I'm squashing him against him, this 17-stone boy, and this side of the plane. I'm pushing back. The pilot's looking what are you doing? And I can't bring my legs up to swivel round to hang him out the side of the plane. So at this point, the pilot's like going, like, hurry up.
Yeah.
He then takes off control of the plane to help me move. But
What, it's like on autopilot or
I don't
something?
know. Yeah, he just sort of like was holding the plane with like one arm and grabbing my legs to sling it out the side of the plane with the other one. And I was like, sort of thinking to myself, like, if this plane goes down, like, you'll be the reason. I'm too fat to like get my legs out the side of the plane, and I couldn't lift my legs, bend my knees high enough to get them out the side of the plane. And the guy was like, and I just remember just feeling like utter shame, like just sat there. So we're waiting to jump, and you see the pilot just like do you know what I mean? And I was just like sat there going, right, can we jump out the plane? Like, I didn't want to jump, but I was so like sort of embarrassed about it.
Were there people waiting to jump after you? Were you?
No. But it was just me, the guy, and the pilot. But like the utter sort of
Just awkwardness.
and embarrassment as the pilot had to stop flying the plane to get my fat legs.
That's a wicked pilot though, that you can do that.
Yeah.
But you got out in the end.
I got out in the end, yeah, and we it wasn't spoken about like afterwards until the and there's a video. I can't remember where the video's gone, but there's a video footage of some of it happening.
I was going to ask you if.
So when I've showed people like the video, they're like, "It takes you a while to get out the plane, doesn't it?" And I'm like, yeah, literally, yeah. So that for me was like one of my most sort of PC sort of
I love that.
embarrassing moments.
I love that, and you're fairly confident as well, and I imagine being out of your comfort zone like that was probably horrendous for you.
Yeah, and I'm scared of heights, and I wanted to jump out the plane.
Yeah,
like,
and be all confident about it, and instead you're like, jelly legs. You need to put a picture or send me a picture of you in that flight suit.
I look like the Michelin Man.
I'd love to see that.
I look like Doughboy. Like it's proper bad. It's not the most flattering of outfits either, is it?
Oh, so you've got to find that video.
It's got to be somewhere. I think it's on DVD somewhere. But
it's funnier because you were on the bigger side as well.
Oh,
like this chubby lad.
I'm going down. Our cheeks will go in. Like, yeah, it was quite an embarrassing moment.
Well, that's a good one, mate. That's a good one. I suppose I'll do one of mine. I'm going to run out of them eventually. I've only got a few. But last week I did the fart in the classroom. This one, it's a school one. I'd just gone from primary school where I grew up in the Midlands. We had primary school till you were like 10, 11. Then you went up to middle school for 3 years to like 13, and then you went up to high school for 3 years. Works differently here. Anyway, I'd just gone from primary school to middle school, so other primary schools had converged, and you were meeting people for the first time. And we had a lesson, I forget what it was, and for some reason it was in the hall, and our teacher got us all to sit in a circle. I was about 11. So we sat in a circle, and she said, right, what I want you to do is I want you to go around one by one and stand up, and I want you to introduce yourself in a way that you think sums up your character.
Okay.
So so-and-so got up, and he was just quite shy. Hi, my name's so-and-so. So-and-so got up and went, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. And it's coming around to me. I'm thinking...
You just spoke for 20 minutes.
yeah, that would have been...
Everyone's still like...
That actually would have been less embarrassing than what happened. So I'm there, and I fancied myself as a bit of a cool dude. I wasn't, but I fancied myself as a bit of a cool dude, you know? And I'm thinking, I know what I'm going to do. When it comes around to me, I'm going to get up, I'm going to spin round, and I'm going to go, I'm Wayne, right? That, I know, cringy, that's embarrassing as it is. But I had a cold, and it finally gets around to me, got a bit of a snotty nose, and I stand up, and I spin round, but as I spin round, snot comes flying out of my nose, and the G-force of me spinning round, it slides all down my face. And my intended cool moment was actually spinning round, snot down the side of my face and going, I'm Wayne, wiping this snot off the side of my face and sitting back down completely embarrassed and like, oh my God, it was my one time to make an impression to all these new people.
And now you're Snotty Wayne.
Wayne Snotty Nose. Yeah, Wayne Snotbeak. So that was an easy one, but that wasn't, I suppose that was one of my most embarrassing ones. It's less embarrassing than some people's, I'm sure, but Yeah, I remember I was mortified. So that was embarrassing moments. We'll have more of that next episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we mentioned earlier, Oktoberfest. You on about going again? Or you want to go again?
I would like to go again. It's got a lot of fond memories.
Okay, for anyone that doesn't know what Oktoberfest is, I've been accused of talking too much on this podcast, so you take it. What is Oktoberfest?
It's a very long weekend of fairground rides, giant pretzels, hot dogs, and some of the nicest beer that you can drink out of litre glasses.
Lederhosens.
I'm wearing lederhosens, yeah. So, like, what more do you want?
Yeah.
Like, what more do you want? Like, it's amazing. There's loads of bands playing all the time. Everyone's friendly, funny, and you just get smashed for, like, the whole day. Every day.
And that's something, I think one of the draws for me, other than all those things, is, like you say, is how friendly everyone is. When you go out here, you tend to stay within the people that you know. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You go to a pub, you sit on the table. But there, you'll have someone back to back on another bench, and they'll just start a random conversation with you because they're interested in where you're from, whether you've been before. It's so social and so friendly. Yeah. And when you've got that amount of thousands of people over, what is it? It's over, I mean, we go for like a weekend, but it's over, 2 weeks?
Yeah, do we go Friday, come back Monday?
No, I normally go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, come back Saturday, because it means I don't have to take as much holiday from work. But yeah, it's just so friendly. And someone said to me once, I bet there's police all over it. And I said, no, there's actually not. In recent years, with the terrorism aspect of things, I've noticed there's been more security.
Yeah, but say there's one or two there, but there's not, and they all just seem to be having as much sort of fun as what you are. Just they're not serious or
it's you wouldn't have thought to put food, beer, and fairground rides together, would you? But it seems
it's
to work.
It's a winning combination, to be honest. Yeah, it is a winning combination.
But it's just Munich itself is a really, really nice city.
Clean city.
Yeah.
Everyone's friendly, everyone's nice, there's no litter, there's no graffiti, it's really nice.
Even when they're doing work on the buildings, I noticed they put, and I think we probably do it in some of our cities, but that was the first place I noticed it, where they've got the scaffolding around the building. They've got all this kind of canvas that comes on the outside with kind of like an image of the building on the outside to cover the ugliness of the work that's going on the other side. It just,
everything's well thought of, and that's probably why they got the best like economy in Europe as well.
Yeah,
like, everything ran smooth. The underground trains ran smooth. Everything was
cheap as well, isn't it?
Cheap, easy.
The beer's not cheap. They do put the price up for the beer because I suppose they just capitalise on it because it's so popular. But you know, the first time I went, I think it was about €8.20 for a stein. So a stein is just under 2 pints. It's a litre, isn't it? So I think it's just, but you've got a big old head on that, so you're not even getting quite that much.
No. And I remember it was €11 when we went.
Yeah,
last time.
Yeah, it's over the course of 5 or 6 years that's gone.
And doing the necking it down as well.
Yeah. Well, you did that, didn't you?
Yeah.
What's cool about it is, I mean, you have to experience it to fully appreciate it, but it's friendly. There's an amazing atmosphere, and when you're in these beer tents, and before I went, I just thought of a kind of a beer festival round here, which is just like a marquee almost. Yeah. These beer tents, you can't even call them a tent. They're big constructed buildings, and I think I read that some of them hold about 8,000 people.
Yeah, there was a lot of people in there, weren't there? Yeah, I remember we were starting off chants and doing the Icelandic.
Oh yeah.
We're doing all that as well.
It's like a football stadium sometimes.
Yeah,
isn't
it was crazy.
But yeah, so you'll be there, and they've got these umpire bands that play throughout the day until about maybe 5:30, and then you get like a proper top-notch cover band come on and just playing crowd pleaser after crowd pleaser, and then everyone's up on the tables and singing and dancing. It's phenomenal. And if anyone decides they're gonna attempt to down a full stein of beer, they stand up on the table, and all their mates inevitably start banging on the tables. Drink.
The whole tent does it, doesn't it?
Yeah, everyone joins in. And by the end of it, you either achieve it and everyone's like, yeah, and everyone comes up and starts chatting to you, or equally as entertaining, everyone goes, ooh. Yeah. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's such a great atmosphere. And the food, I've had the best half roast chicken I've ever had in my life at that place. It's just amazing.
That's when I necked it when there was a guy on the other table. He stood up, done it. I think he got halfway down his and stopped and went booing. I was like, right, now's my moment. That's when I jumped up and just went, like, finished it down. But afterwards, you can't move for like a good 20 minutes afterwards. It's because you think if you sneeze, like, that is it.
It's cold as well.
You've got beer coming out everywhere.
Yeah.
And you see people trying to make it flat so they can neck it as well. Like,
I've seen that.
People trying to flatten it, and there's like the head on it's ridiculous. But it's difficult. I remember I did mine like fresh, and like it got to when you get to like near the bottom, you think you're drowning. Like you're literally going like, I've got to finish.
You've got an audience.
Yeah, you've got to finish the last bit.
I couldn't do it. I'd put my hand up. I couldn't do it. I can down a pint. But I couldn't down a litre of beer.
But I felt rough afterwards.
Yeah.
And it took me in. Someone was like, oh, do you want to... I'll get you another beer. And you're like... it's fine. Yeah.
Well, it's something I found really kind of... it was kind of blew my mind a little bit, is I think I've been about 5 or 6 times now. And yeah, from the first time I ever went. But unless you've been, you wouldn't understand. But these tents get full to capacity, don't they? And you walk in there and they'll have tables that are reserved that you pay a lot of money to reserve. And I think Germans, I might be wrong, but I think the German people actually are given priority over those reservations, and rightly so. I think it's their festival. And a lot of them are reserved for corporate events and stuff like that. So you go in, and finding a table that isn't reserved in the afternoon or from like midday,
it's impossible.
It is, yeah. But they will let you sit on the tables that are reserved until that time. There's a piece of paper on saying reserved from 5:30, and they're cool if you sit on there. So the last time we went, which was 2016, I think, we decided that we were going to make a day of it and we were going to get there early. And
I remember.
Yeah, so we'd been out all night the night before, got up early the next day. We were all a little bit worse for wear. Got to the festival. It was really great weather as well, I remember.
Hot.
Yeah. And we chose the tent we wanted to go into. I think the Paulaner tent, that's my favourite beer actually there. And we had to wait for the doors to open.
It was about 10:30, wasn't it?
Yeah.
10:10, 11:15.
And as a contrast to walking in there and it's bustling and you walk round 3-4 times, hoping that each time you go round there'll be a table free, and there isn't. We walked in, and the only people that were in there were the staff.
Yeah.
And we just looked at this massively empty tent, and tent's kind of an understatement. And I was just like, where should we sit then, boys?
Yeah.
And we sat there, but because we wanted to keep the table, that was 10:30, 10 o'clock. By midday, it was rammed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we had to stay there to keep the table.
I think we left at 11:30 in the evening.
Oh, I was gone before that. I left at 8. I mean,
Plus the games me and you'd been playing like throughout the whole...
Yeah. Well, okay. We should probably maybe not go into full detail with this, but some people say, I know, where do I start with this? Some people say to me, when I tell them some of these stories, they go, oh, I'm never coming out with you. But what they don't appreciate is there are probably 2 people that I know that bring out the worst in me when I go out in a one-upmanship kind of way, and that's you and another friend of mine who I won't mention. And when we went to Oktoberfest, it got silly, didn't it?
Well, I think as well, a lot of people that we went with were pretty disgusted as well. Like, you could see it in their faces. Like
yeah, I mean, it's hard to talk about without going into detail, but I don't know if I want to go into detail.
Well, I think like it started off, I think it was like, it starts off with the wet willy, like licking your finger and putting it in your ears. And you'll start doing it to me, I'll start doing it to you, and then it'll be
hand down the pants.
It goes quite quickly to hand down the pants,
finger in the mouth,
finger in the mouth, hands in the in your arsehole, and then put it in your mouth.
But
It was fun. But then, like you said, I don't do it to anyone else.
No.
It only seems to be like, have a few drinks and it's like, right, beeline for Wayne.
yeah, and then I'm not like it when I'm sober, but when I've had a drink, everything becomes a good idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people with certain things, you know? Your inhibitions are kind of diminished. But it's just like, oh, what disgusting thing can I do to get him back?
And I remember like you coming back to the room one night and I just moved your mattress out. Was it moved the mattress out the hallway? And you came back and you were like, oh, I just wanted to get to bed. Like everyone was smashed. Just wanted to go, oh, you fat bastard, where's my mattress?
Did you put it in like the cupboard? Like where the...
I think I put it in the shower room. I can't remember what I'd done with it.
I know, because I was on the top. We were both on the top bunk, weren't we? You were on one, I was on the other. But Oktoberfest, if you haven't been, definitely go. It's an experience that is definitely worth experiencing, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Movie of the Week.
Okay, so it's movie of the week time again, episode 2 of The Green Room. Hopefully you like my recommendation for Chef last episode. I think it's a great film. Hopefully you enjoyed it if you watched it off the back of my recommendation. This episode's movie of the week is an older film, 1985, I think. It's a film called The Sure Thing, and it stars John Cusack. You've probably seen him in 2012, High Fidelity, Con Air, and an actress called Daphne Zuniga. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. And the film is directed by Rob Reiner. It's a great film, nice 80s vibe. It's about John Cusack. He's a uni student in New England. And his best mate, who is Goose from Top Gun, is at a uni in Los Angeles. He's approaching Christmas break. Goose, we'll call him, keeps sending him all these postcards of scantily clad women in bikinis, trying to tempt him to go back to Los Angeles for Christmas break. And he sends him one that he assures John Cusack is a sure thing, no questions asked, she can't wait to meet him, all that kind of thing. So he manages to get himself a ride with a couple of other students who are heading back that way, but also shares the ride with Daphne Zuniga, who he hit on unsuccessfully earlier on in the film and hates his guts. They get ditched on the side of the road early on in the film because of all their bickering, and it's about their journey back to where they're going on in various other parts of America, him for his reason and her for her reason. And it's about how these two unlikely characters are kind of forced to work together to try and make their way to where they're going, and sort of like this relationship that kind of is blossoming along the way. It's a really good film. Like I say, nice 80s vibe, easy watching, funny, and I'm a bit of a sucker for a rom-com, I'll be honest. So watch it. It's called The Sure Thing, 1985. And let me know what you thought of it, if you watched it off the back of my recommendation. If you have already seen it, and it's been out for a while, so you might have already seen it, let me know in the comments if you liked it. And yeah, that's it. Movie of the week, The Sure Thing. Cheers. So, hopefully, last episode, you enjoyed my favourite future. Futter.
Back to the futter.
Back
to the futter, that's pork schnitzel.
She want my schnitzel.
Pork schnitzel.
He loves his schnitzel. Anyway, getting back on topic. You hopefully enjoyed the new feature, my favourite feature, names you wouldn't call your baby. Cue the jingle. Names you wouldn't call your baby. Mama. So, Dave Petty popped the cherry on this feature last week, Danny. Not last week, sorry, last episode.
I don't ever really think that baby and popping cherry should go in the same sentence.
No, I know. And I said something last time that was probably inappropriate, but I didn't get any backlash off it, so I think I got away with it. You probably won't get away with that.
But I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it.
So, just to clarify what this is all about, I'll try and do it a little bit more fluently than I did last time. So, this feature is all about names that suit adults that don't suit babies, that you wouldn't really adorn a baby with. Names like how Dave came out with it last episode, Trevor. I suggested, just as an example, Brian. You know, there are certain names that used to be old-fashioned that have come back. Edith, Henry, Harry. You know,
I know a Trevor that looks like a giant baby
with his head upside down, with a big beard. But so it's about, you know, names that you just wouldn't associate with a baby because they're kind of adult names that maybe might be dying out. So last episode, as I said, Dave came up with Trevor. I'm making a note of these on my dry whiteboard that I have at the ready. And I'm going to ask each of my guests for a name. Have you thought about this already?
Yeah, I've thought quite
extensively.
Yeah.
Cool. This is a name that you wouldn't call your baby just because it would be very cruel to do so. But as a result, a risk that name might die out. You know? So, yeah.
As I say, do you want me to explain it why I've chosen it?
Absolutely.
Well, I don't think it's ever really a name that would say die out as such. I think it has died out. And I just don't think it's not right or not fair to call a baby the name that I've chosen. Although at school, like, I think the fashion is now is that people want to think outside the box.
Yeah.
They want to give their kids names so they've not I went to school with, I don't know, 4 or 5 Daniels. So like, I know it's important. Like, that's why people are calling their kids like Pear and
fruit,
and then they'll be Wardrobe or whatever they're gonna be called. So I think like my name like does fit into that category, although it is, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going for little.
Right, hang on. Oh, before you do it, let's build up the suspense. So we're going to go for Danny Llamosa. Okay, so let's do a little role play because it's funny. So Danny, congratulations on your baby. He's a real cutie. He's like, you know, one of the most beautiful babies I've seen. Is it a boy or girl?
It's a boy.
Oh, he's absolutely lovely. But so have you thought of a name?
Yeah, because he is quite demanding and he's
Okay.
quite strict. So I've named him Little Baby Adolf.
I didn't know this before he said it. That guy has ruined that name for eternity, hasn't he?
Exactly.
How selfish.
So like, he would be the only Adolf in the school.
Okay.
But the name has died out. Although like some people might have thought it did go to Argentina, but like the name has officially died out. And
Yeah.
I don't know any other Adolfs, but
I didn't go to school with any.
me neither. But then, like I say, he would be the only one in his school. But I don't think it's, no matter how cute that baby is,
Yeah.
there'll never be a cute little Adolf.
They won't. No, and that's actually...
And it'd be worse at school as well. Like, they call his name in the register, he puts his arm up. Like, it's just...
But he's fallen asleep in class, people are painting little moustaches on him. Yeah,
it's just not fair on the kid.
No, I love that arm thing. That's brilliant. So you're going with Adolf. Would you pronounce it Adolf or Adolf? How would you choose to have it pronounced if it was your child?
Mein Früher.
My pen's run out. It's a sign. I shouldn't be writing this down.
I think little Adolf.
Adolf. It's an F, isn't it? It's not PH. I passed English, apparently. So, that is a good one. That's going to take some beating. On a side note, and this was very unexpected, if you could go back in time and stop the Holocaust from happening, but it would mean killing Adolf Hitler as a baby, do you think you could do it?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I didn't have to think about that twice. What? So, like, he's a baby.
He's a baby. He hasn't turned into that person yet. So you're essentially killing a totally innocent baby.
But then that's a very broad question because you'd have to look at his social surroundings. You'd have to look if you just took him away from Germany and brought him up in North Devon.
You wouldn't have to kill him.
Yeah, or if you brought him up in Israel, for example, he might not be the little Jew hater that he turned out to be.
No, that's true. He'd be the black sheep of the family, though, wouldn't he? If he still looked the same, his little tash. Wow, that is a good one. That is going to take some beating. So let us know on the Facebook page or YouTube, wherever you're watching this, or even on whichever podcast site you've subscribed to. Let us know whether you approve. I
wonder how many Adolfs are on Facebook as well.
Maybe we should look. Maybe we should have a look.
Maybe we should.
Yeah. I imagine, probably quite rightly, that name took a rapid dive in popularity.
Yeah.
Around the 1940s. Yeah. So can we just clarify that we're not laughing at the Holocaust, and we're not laughing at anything to do with it. We're laughing at the fact that what was probably once a perfectly acceptable name to name your baby is completely the opposite.
Bit frowned upon now.
Yeah. That's quite a good way of putting it. Frowned upon.
Yeah.
So Danny Llamosa goes with Adolf.
Little baby Adolf.
Love it. So this is all about annoyances. It's something that my guest hates, that gets on their nerves, and they feel like they want to use this opportunity to rant about and get it off their chest. I've got plenty of my own. I might have to do those as solo videos. I'm not sure. Solo podcasts, I don't know. But I've asked Danny to think of one. I think he's thought of one.
Yep.
Go for it.
At the moment, for me, it's the whole sort of snowflake era. I think that we're going through currently at the moment.
Millennials.
Just people just getting like offended over like the silliest things, and then it sort of gives them entitlement to be able to have a go or be offended, and it's getting too much, and it's filtering all the way through, and it's going like, and I think that's why we're in like a big sort of problem at the moment.
I know exactly what you mean, and this is something that really enrages me as well. But I think it's either going to get way worse, or it will carry on getting a bit worse, and it will get to a point where it just has to go back to where it was.
Yeah. At the moment, that's what's sort of griping me.
Yeah, and I know what you mean, and it's not that. I'm sure I'm on the right page with you. It's not that you think, if you want to be racist, you should be allowed to be racist. If you want to do this, you should. There are certain things that everyone knows aren't okay and all this lot. But it's got to a point where it's almost like they're running out of things to be offended about. Yeah, so they're choosing anything.
Just anything to sort of, you can't say that. Well, you can't do that. And it like brings back, I had a conversation with a guy at work not long ago. He's 82. Like done his military like his national service and things like that. And I think national service is something that's needed at the moment within the country. There's so much unrest. There's so many people that have got sort of like don't know what they're doing, don't know what to do. I mean, I've been one of them. I'm sure like you've been through a point where you think, I don't know what to do, I don't know what I'm doing. But I think like everyone needs that sort of direction, a bit of balance, opposed to like now it's so much easier to do. Like he was telling me in his generation, he's like, well, if I didn't go to work, I didn't get any food. If I didn't go to work, I didn't get this. Like now, I think we're so, I don't know what the word is, wet. Like the whole country is just completely spineless in the fact that people can just sit around and not do anything, like just get sort of spoon fed. They can like, you could literally just leave school, not have to work a day in your life, and be fine. I mean, I'm not saying there's people have got issues. I mean, certain people have got certain issues which prevents them from working. Like, I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of that. I can't do this. Fair enough. I'm sure everyone's got. So why isn't it's like if the government are going to go giving out £300 a week, give them a flat and everything, why aren't they walk around with litter pickers? Why aren't they? Okay, we don't want you to go out and do 40 hours a week because you can't, but a telephone box needs painting, or a bench needs painting. Like where's our sort of
enforcement of those things?
Where's our sort of pride? Like people don't have to do anything anymore to, and that's why it's getting like it's getting more difficult. There's no,
I know what you mean, and I think
and that frustrates me. Like I haven't got anything, but I've sort of always worked to sort of get to where I've gotten. I've never been given anything. It's always had to be, you want something. That's what I was always told. You want something, you got to go out and earn it. You got to go out and do it. And I'm not just saying like using I mean, everyone's had different situations. Everyone's got different upbringing to what I have. I understand that, but at the moment, it just seems that like even kids, like, I'm not saying back in my day, it's sort of, but you see kids in the moment even like walking through high school, like spitting on the floor, and it just seems to be like the sort of there's a lack of,
there's a sense of entitlement.
Yeah,
they think that the world owes them something, and that well, why should I do this? Why should I do that?
And and even like even the police telling them what to do, you can't do that.
Yeah,
like I'm not saying all the police are right, and I'm not saying there's the way I look at it, there's good people, there's bad people. It doesn't matter what uniform they're wearing, it doesn't matter what religion they're fronting for. There's good people and there's bad people. That's it. It's not like they're this and they're that, and that's what sort of annoys me.
I'd hate to be either a teacher, a copper, maybe not an ambulance, someone, a paramedic or something.
Yeah.
But in the same sort of way, is their jobs are so much harder now, because whereas they used to be able to clip someone around the ear roll or grab someone by the scruff of their neck, now that person goes, whoa, hang on, I'm having you for this and I'm having you for that.
And they'll win.
Yeah, and it's almost nurtured. It's kind of, it's like no one will stand up and say, that's not acceptable. No, you can't be like that or whatever. It's, okay, well, we'll let him because we don't want to offend him and all this kind of thing. And it's getting ridiculous, and it makes me wonder what the state of the world's going to be in another 10, 20 years.
And it's also thinking about like different things. Like I know people suffer from anxiety. I mean, I've suffered a bit from anxiety. I'm sure everyone has their own sort of little things that makes them anxious, like things that they suffer with. But I think people like, and it's on the rise. But at the same time, it's like, well, I get worried about being in groups and speaking to people. Okay. So all we've done is like, as humans, as brought in less human contact. So now, like, you want something, you just get off Amazon. You can do it while you're on the toilet. You go up to Tesco, you haven't even got to speak to the lady behind the counter anymore. You just go
self-service.
You just go do it yourself.
Yeah.
Or you get things delivered to you. So like, for now, for like the generation growing up, they haven't got to interact with people.
No, it's all on the phones and stuff.
They've got no sort of means or no sort of, they don't have to communicate with people. So like, where are they going to go? How are they going to face in an interview?
Yeah.
Because I can't do. I'm scared of dealing with people. So the reason why you're not good at dealing with people and like people's emotions, people's reactions, is because you haven't been exposed to it.
Yeah.
Because you sit the majority of your time behind a console, or I don't know, or just not interaction. You're having no sort of form of interaction. Like I enjoy talking to people.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy interacting. Like, don't worry, I've got a games console. I don't particularly, but I'm not saying it is just games. People have got general conditions, but I don't think we as people are making that any better.
No.
And it's like it's just, that's to me that's a sort of underlying issue that I think needs to be sort of addressed. That's sort of like, well, I don't want to say it's a difficult thing to say what's annoying me, because it's like there's vast amount of things that annoy me. But I just think the thing that's annoying me most at the moment is literally where we are. Not saying about the generation, but one that always sticks in my head is when you go to McDonald's or you go to a fast food takeaway and you see the kids that take their stuff to the bin and you think, yeah, they'll be fine. The ones that leave their shit on the table is because someone else gets paid to do that, not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the issue.
Ignorance.
That's for me, that annoys me. That's one of the biggest. That's probably should have started with that. That's one of like the biggest things that annoy me. You go somewhere like McDonald's and you see the kids all eating with their food in their trays, and they leave their tray there, and when you'll get one person in that group that will say, "Should we? Oh, let's put these in the bin," and then they'll just go, "Why? They get paid for that."
Yeah, that's got to be their parents surely bringing them up like that.
But then it gets past. Like if that's their attitude with that, that's their attitude with everything. Like you see a plastic bottle on the beach, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
It's just already like dismissing responsibility at it seems very minuscule and very small, but to me that's
the start of a bigger problem.
That's the start of a bigger problem.
Yeah, but we won't fix it. But maybe we can. Maybe this can be educational in some way. I don't know. Not that we really know what we're talking about. It's just opinions, but they're valid opinions, I think, when it comes to that. And I'm sure a lot of people think the same.
Yeah, and there's a large selection of people that disagree with everything we're saying.
Maybe what we need is some kind of apocalypse or some kind of thing where the grid goes down and then people are forced to go almost back to basics. It wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
Absolutely not.
But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Not wishing that, by the way, but I do think about it sometimes. Well, that's about it, I think.
That's it.
I think we're done. But cheers for coming on.
No, it's been a
It's
pleasure.
been good.
Thank you very much.
It's been
Cheers.
good. I've enjoyed it. It's have to get you on again.
Yeah, I'd like to come on again.
I'm going to run out of friends eventually, so I'll have to just go round and in circles, and hopefully something new will have happened or something else will have happened in the world that we can complain about or moan about. Put the world to rights.
That was a nice moan, though.
It was a nice moan. The whole thing's been good, actually. It's a shame I won't be able to use it all. How long have you been around? Like 2 hours?
I think so.
I think I'm going to try and edit this to 45 minutes, and that's going to be tough. I might have to just cut out all the bits that you were talking.
That's the only last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, apparently so, yeah. Okay, before we go, I will just address something. If you've made it this far, thanks very much. I should have said this at the beginning. There seems to be a little bit of a misunderstanding with what all this is about. It's a podcast. It's audio. You can listen to it on Castbox. You can listen to it on Podbean. You can listen to it on iTunes. But I'm also filming the whole thing, as you can see, if this video makes it on. And I'm putting video highlights up onto YouTube and onto my Facebook page, The Green Room. It was never going to be a full podcast in video form of me sitting on the sofa talking nonsense to my current guest, who this week is Danny Llamosa. So apologies if you thought that's what it was. I find it hard to believe that you would have sat there and watched like an hour-long video of me talking to someone on the sofa. But if you would, then I'm really flattered, and I apologise if I've let you down in any way. But hopefully, if you're not going to listen to the podcast, you're enjoying the videos, and vice versa. But I would really like people to listen to the podcast because they might miss out on some gems that might not make it out into video form on the Facebook page and on YouTube. So once again, thanks very much, Danny. Cheers for coming, mate.
Thanks, Wayne.
And we'll see you definitely again. Well, I'll see more of you now because you're back.
Very true.
Back in the Shire.
Back in the old Shire, yeah.
We need to get out for a few beers. It's been a long time.
And some spit in the face.
I can't wait. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
See you on the next episode of The Green Room. Well, hopefully last episode you checked out the song that was my song of the week for that episode. It was The Spinners, Rubber Band Man. Great song. Love that song. Always play it if I'm on my way out and just kind of getting worked up before I go out. My song of the week this week for episode 2 is a song by a band that no one seems to have heard of, a band called Crash Kings. The song is called Shameless Little Monkeys, and it's from their second album, Dark of the Daylight. I actually got onto this band from Zach Braff, who was JD in Scrubs. I was a big fan of Scrubs, and he's always been really good at kind of pushing the careers of musicians that he likes and bands that he likes through shows and stuff that he's involved in. This song, or this band rather, he was plugging on MySpace. That's how long ago it was, quite a while ago. And they've only done these 2 albums and nothing for quite a while. But this song has kind of popped up on my iTunes a couple of times this week, and I forgot how good it was. So I just thought I'd kind of point you in the direction of it for this week's Song of the Week. I'll put a link to it on Facebook, and hopefully you'll go and click it and check them out. Second album's quite a lot different to the first album. They're basically a 3-piece, bass, drums and keyboard player. And the second album, he used a lot of kind of guitar synthesizer effects on his keyboard, so they were a lot more kind of rockier sound to the album. But it's a great song. Go and check it out. Click the link. Let me know what you thought of it. Let me know if you hated it even. Hopefully you won't, but it might not be your cup of tea. Let me know. So Song of the Week, episode 2 of The Green Room, Shameless Little Monkeys by the Crash Kings. Go and check it out. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you again on the next episode of The Green Room. Cheers.